This is Beyond a Reasonable Doubt with your hosts, Mark Garrigus and Gary Smith.
GPS, how are you today?
MJG, I'm well. How are you?
Excellent. At the office, doing a little work. You've been running around all day. We don't have a comment of the week, or do we have a comment of the week?
No, I didn't see anything that jumped out to me, and I think that's a mutual feeling because I didn't have anything that you sent over either. I think that it was a little bit of a slow week in terms of that. Yeah,
I don't know what maybe people's attention spans for snarkiness were elsewhere. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I didn't see many suggestions for the alternate titles for Two Angry Men either, which I thought would be flooding in. I thought that was sort of your prompt at the end of the last episode, and I thought we were going to get all kinds of snarky nonsense out of that, and not so much.
I wonder if the RDs, if we start dropping the Two Angry Men as the midweek, if that counts as a midweek. In the RD timeline, what is your analysis of that?
Well, that's a conversation. That's a conversation I've been trying to have with you for a year and a half. So I think that might be something we need to sit down at Engine one day this week and hash out a little bit. But one thing I did want to point out is that, you know, we've been playing a few clips of Two Angry Men, which is for anyone who's missed the last few episodes. That's your new podcast that you are doing in concert with TMZ and their head honcho Harvey Levin over there, and that is a TMZ production, but we are also posting that on the LA Mag YouTube channel. So don't miss that. Go to youtube.com/Los Angeles Magazine videos to subscribe there. And if you are only an audio listener of this show, do yourself a favor while you're at it and go to youtube.com/Reasonable Doubt Podcast and make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channels, because more and more these shows are not fully consumable necessarily unless you're watching on video. So check both of those YouTube channels out, youtube.com/Reasonable Doubt Podcast and youtube.com/Los Angeles Magazine videos with an S. That's important. Videos plural on that one. So yeah, go check those YouTube channels out.
A lot going on this past week. Probably my favorite video of a in-court scene, my favorite most recent video is the reaction of ASAP Rocky after ASAP Joe Tacopina got him acquitted here in the LA courts.
Now I have to ask, I know I sent you video of this within about 40 seconds of it happening, but were you watching live? I know me and AK and a few other people on our team were all watching live, but I don't know if you were.
I don't think that I was. But I definitely was getting texts in real time. Yeah, as you can imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's check out some of that video, because for those who maybe haven't been following along, ASAP Rocky's verdict came in this week. I believe it was on Tuesday, maybe Wednesday, but I think it was Tuesday. And this is the scene in court as the verdict is read. And that is Rocky, who you see his back there, and his lawyer, Joe Tacopina, there on the left, and other members of his legal team in frame.
We, the jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant, Raheem Mayers, not guilty.
It goes on, but I think that's the most fun part there for anyone who's not watching on YouTube. He hugs one of his lawyers. He hugs another person on his legal team, I think just because they were in his way. And then he dives over the divider that separates where the attorneys sit from where the audience can sit. And he jumps into Rihanna's arms. But because of the divider that was in his way, what you end up with for a few frames there is pictures of just legs up in the air, because his midsection has sort of landed on the divider and he's hugging his wife and his legs are flailing around in the air. I don't believe were in the office this week, but shortly after that happened in real time, AK commented that she wanted that on a t-shirt, and I didn't have the time to turn it around for her birthday, but that picture was on her door for her birthday the next day.
I think I just saw it.
Yeah, I think she probably left it up. She enjoyed it quite a bit.
Okay, now, if I'm going to judge the courtroom jump as an Olympic event, what do you give that?
I'd say that's probably somewhere around a 4 or 5. I mean, it was, he was excited, but he didn't
it's a solid 4, because I've never seen anybody do the jump over the rail from that side.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
But but the thing that I have to take points away from, and the reason that it's not higher, is because for anyone who's never been in a Los Angeles criminal courtroom, the divider that we're talking about stands about 3 feet high, maybe at most
3 feet. Exactly. It's about a 2-year-old male's height.
Yeah, exactly. My 5-year-old, it's, somewhere around the midsection of his body at this point. It is not very high. So it's not like he loses a little bit of points because he didn't have a giant barrier to cross. And I think that we have to set it against what I would say is probably the most impressive court jump that I've ever seen. Let's see what you give this one. This is one that longtime Reasonable Doubt fans will, and anyone who listened to our end of 2024 episode will remember. So this is what we're all judging against. I think this is probably the gold standard. So for anyone who's not watching on YouTube, we just played the clip of, I believe, a Las Vegas area. Does that sound?
I think that was Las Vegas.
I think it was Las Vegas.
That was a state court. We're going to do state versus federal. These are both state court jumps.
Right.
This is much higher.
Well, he's clearing the bench that the judge is sitting behind. And I would say that stands.
Do a repeat of that.
To
how much the Fosbury flop kind of.
I mean, we'll play this one again, but I have to say this has to be 5 feet, if not a little higher. And he clears it completely with his whole body in the air. And, Rocky kind of clears it with the upper half of his body and then sort of rests on the thing. This guy just cleared the entire thing. I mean, that's impressive.
Very. I was saying the reason I was making the mention of state court, you can get video. In federal court, you don't get video, but there is and I've confirmed this with the federal district court judge. He's not on the bench anymore, but Judge Dikron Tevrizian became legend in the federal court because a defendant in the federal court who was appearing in front of Judge T tried to make a run for it in the courthouse. Basically was sitting at counsel table, was unshackled, I believe, and started running for the door. Judge T actually vaulted from the bench into the well, chased the guy down and tackled him. That's a 10.
That's impressive. I mean, wow. First of all, that's some gusto on the part of that defendant to try to escape from a federal criminal courthouse. I don't think I don't think your odds are very high there, but to then only to be chased down by the judge, who's sitting
presiding over your case. But I've always said Judge T, he's miraculous in a lot of ways. And that in particular was quite the, everybody who described it to me and it became the thing of lore.
I was going to say, that'd have to be legendary in that courthouse for decades to come. If only we had video of that to play. That's really the only shame here.
Sure. A lot of federal courts have the closed circuit internal system. Somewhere, somebody's probably got that.
Well, if we meet the right person, we'll do another episode and we'll show that if we can. But that sounds impressive. I would be very embarrassed if I was the defendant who had the chutzpah to try to run, and the person with the most physical impediment between me and that for the judge to get to him, given all the things that were in between the two of them, is pretty embarrassing.
Yeah. I would
not embarrassing for the judge. For the judge, it's you become a legend.
Judge. Yeah, I mean, it's talk about being in shape. I mean, I'm telling you, if it's the courtroom that I'm thinking of and I'm picturing it, this is not just a coming down off a 3-foot bench, 4-foot bench. This is a very high, majestic height that vaulted over and caught the defendant.
Well, that's impressive. So Rocky not guilty on all counts. And I believe that 50 Cent is now trying to come after the infamous Los Angeles crime reporter Megan Cuniff, who we showed last week on the air. I'll see if I can find the picture. But we showed last week that she was saying that she would bet $500,000 that he was going to be found guilty. And a little bit of egg on Megan's face this week.
I'd love, we've had Megan, have we not? We had Megan, the reporter on RD.
Absolutely, we have.
Megan used to be a LA Mag reporter. We should probably see if she's interested in coming on and speaking to this. Don't you think? Maybe Megan and Joe T. We could get. There you go.
Yeah, I got ASAP beating this case. I'll bet $500,000 on it. This is 50 Cent speaking, and Megan, I believe, quoted this and said, "I'll take that bet." Obviously, social media, I don't think that's a binding statement, but 50 Cent, who is legendary for chasing people down over debts and and doing it publicly and embarrassing.
Let's revisit that little dust up in the courtroom, because it did age well.
So this is just a screenshot. I don't have that dust up ready to go. That I know it looked like it was a video because it has the play button, but that's just a screenshot of 50's Instagram post. I can see if I can find it while you speak here.
Do that. So it's quite a week that was, and I think this upcoming week's going to have some fireworks as well in various court cases. Luigi also appeared.
Yes, he did.
With Karen yesterday. We get some pictures of that or video of that as well.
I can pull up some pictures.
I didn't send it to you, so it's very unfair.
No, I can pull up some pictures, but I did enjoy that TMZ in their writing was referring to her by your nickname for her, KFA. So that was, I thought, a nice shout out. I don't know if that's something.
I wish I could take credit for that. But
I did wonder. I know you've been spending time with Harvey, so I did wonder if that was something that maybe you had said that he liked and he ran with, but I just kind of made me smile, so I thought it was something I'd mention. But yes, he appeared in court wearing green. A lot of people are opining on that. I saw somebody say online that he's wearing green because it symbolized his solidarity, only to have somebody else quote it and say, no, he's wearing green because he's Luigi, which is a Super Mario joke. That's very funny, in my opinion.
That's a good one, but it's the wrong color green.
It is the wrong color green, but it's still a decent joke for somebody who,
very good.
For my generation, that's pretty spot on joke I like. So yeah, he appeared in court, and KFA right alongside, and there's plenty of pictures of her as well. I'm trying to see if I can find one that's handy.
I think there was also a picture. I saw Jacob Kaplan with sitting at the bench too. Jacob is a master of getting himself in pictures. I tease him about it. He's the Forrest Gump of New York criminal law.
Yeah, I'm having trouble. I've got one that's got KFA, but it doesn't have her face, and I'm having a little trouble here trying to do this in real time.
She also gave, I thought, a pretty fiery speech on the courthouse steps afterwards.
I saw a little bit of that. Yeah, she was impassioned for sure.
Up. Yeah, she was fired up. And speaking of which, Eric Adams, Emile Bove, who before being appointed there's KFA right there with Luigi. I love that look on Luigi right there.
Yeah, it's quite something. I sorry, her speech was great, and she was certainly impassioned for sure.
Yeah, and then in the Southern District there, the judge this week, I believe on Friday, Emile Bove appeared, who is the
author of the letter we spoke of last week.
Yeah, in the court, argued for the dismissal. The judge, to his credit, said he wanted a little more information and appointed somebody, I believe yesterday, Friday, we're taping this on Saturday, to argue the contrary position, but said he was not going to delay the decision. He thought it would in the best interest. Eric Adams then is somewhat in limbo, but if you take the judge at his word, which I do, I suppose, will rule fairly quickly, and we'll see. I don't think there's much argument for the other side on that. I mean, it's the Department of Justice has the prerogative. They bring the prosecutions. It's not up to the judge to appoint a special counsel at this point. I understand the argument. You know how I feel about special counsels. So they brought it. They can dismiss it. That's the way it should be.
Yeah, I tend to agree with your analysis that although he is a little bit in limbo, I doubt he will be for long.
Yeah, and he ended up commenting on it. He was also fiery there as well, and in a lot of center of the universe has moved from LA to New York. So on our bi-coastal, I'm sure we'll revisit one or most of these cases next week as well.
Well, there's a little news out of LA this week. I don't know if you want to go there, but the center of the law universe tends to oscillate back and forth if my memory is any indication. So it's always interesting, and we're always watching all the big cities for the stories to cover here on Reasonable Doubt. So we'll certainly be revisiting all of these, I would imagine.
Yeah, I want to. Next week, there's a couple that I'd like to dive into that I don't think get a whole lot of attention, and I'm going to send you them in advance, Gary, as opposed to kind of the last minute fire drill.
I don't believe you.
I know you don't.
But if you do,
and if I do it, I'll probably freelance somewhere else.
Well, the last time I told you I didn't believe you, it was about a midweek and we did it. So, I guess I should be less pessimistic and just, look forward to getting them from you. And when I do, I'll prep them and we'll be good to go.
You got it. Thanks, Gary. I appreciate you being flexible today. How's that?
Thank you, Mark. I appreciate you flexing for my scheduling restrictions a little later today as well. So thank you. And thank you, everyone, for listening. Go check out Reasonable Doubt and Los Angeles Magazine videos, both on YouTube, youtube.com/Los Angeles Magazine videos and youtube.com/Reasonable Doubt podcast. Mark, thank you so much for making some time on a weekend. We'll see you all next week.
Thank you. See you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to Reasonable Doubt. Subscribe on YouTube at youtube.com/Reasonable Doubt podcast.